is part 2 of the Millionaire Mindset, top habits that millionaires have. And if you like videos like this, make sure that you subscribe and leave a comment that you subscribe so I can reply back to you personally. Today, I got 3 business tips that I'm pretty sure you never heard of. So let's get started.
Colors have an effect on how you feel and how you perceive things. Red stands for passion and excitement. It can signify importance and commands attention. Orange stands for playfulness, vitality, and friendliness. It is invigorating and evokes energy. Pink obviously stands for femininity, youth, and innocence. Green evokes stability, prosperity, growth, and a connection to nature. Blue stands for professionalism, security, and formality. It is mature and trustworthy. Purple can signify royalty, creativity, and luxury. Black evokes a powerful, sophisticated, edgy, luxurious, and modern feeling. White evokes cleanliness, virtue, health, or simplicity. Yellow evokes happiness, youth, and optimism. It's attention-grabbing, but too much yellow can actually cause anxiety. Keep this in mind when choosing colors for your brand. Which color do you think speaks to you the most? Here's the marketing strategy Yeti used to turn coolers into billions of dollars. Yeti was started in 2006 by 2 brothers who are avid outdoorsmen and experience a number of problems with the existing coolers on the market. So they set out to build a better cooler for themselves. And what they arrived at was an extremely heavy-duty cooler, one that was far more insulated, had better hinges, and was durable enough for you to stand or sit on. As a result, it was 10 times the price of the average cooler on the market. Who was going to buy a $300 cooler when there were $50 coolers on the market? But Yeti was not building for the masses. They were building for the pro hunter and fisherman. So they partnered with the best pro hunters and fishermen to have them test the product and then become brand ambassadors. Next, with every order, they threw in free hats as well as t-shirts that their target demo used when they were out on their adventures, which would then spur conversation and word of mouth. By being focused on this niche and not trying to go mass market, they were able to accomplish 2 things. First, they were able to get penetration and start building a brand among the small and loyal user base. But second, and most importantly, by building a product for the pros, they were seen as an aspirational product to people who are maybe just the occasional fisherman or the occasional hunter. By staying singularly focused on the cooler, they were able to build a strong reputation. It even started getting distribution in stores where people would see their product as alternative coolers for camping trips or tailgating. Once they started getting adoption for these various contexts, they slowly started releasing new products at different price points, becoming the brand that they are today. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day, so subscribe to not miss the next one. The truth about billionaires that will change the way you think about money. When you think of the richest people in the world like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Mark Zuckerberg, you often...
Before they continue on, I kind of wanted to harp on something that was mentioned in the last video that is really true. Sometimes when people are starting a business, you want to do everything. Like I see restaurants that have like these vast menus, these huge menus, but really, I've seen Gordon Ramsay suggest like you really just need like 1 or 2 pages of really good things that you guys are great at, because then you can control the quality of what you're selling. Like, of course, you want to sell everything to everybody, but I've often found that I've made more sales in business when I kind of just niche down, like kind of like how Yeti did with the coolers. Like, instead of just selling everything camping, how about we just do just this important aspect of this niche?
Imagine that these individuals have billions of dollars in their bank account and can buy anything they want. That's not exactly true, though. An individual's wealth is measured in relation to the value of their assets, not by what they have in their bank account. For example, if your house is worth over $1 million, that makes you a millionaire. But it doesn't mean you have $1 million in your account. The same applies to billionaires. For instance, the majority of Elon Musk's wealth is from the stock he owns in Tesla. The value of his stock exceeds $100 billion. But that means if he wants to cash in that amount, he would have to sell all his stock. But how can billionaires continue to...
Hey, sorry for breaking the concentration, but if you've never seen Wolf, if you've never seen Wolf of Wall Street, that scene is ridiculous, yo. Leonardo DiCaprio does a really good job in that movie.
Spend money if they don't have much in their bank accounts? Well, they simply have what's called credit lines. In essence, Banks lend the extremely wealthy hundreds of millions of dollars in order to allow them to spend as much as they choose. In theory, this means that even though the very wealthy have assets worth billions of dollars, they are still in debt since they have to pay back the money that a bank loaned them. In fact, this is how Elon Musk was able to buy Twitter. He didn't take out $44 billion from his wallet to buy the social media platform. He was able to leverage against his assets. The wealthy understand that this allows them to increase their wealth while not losing money. Here's the truth of how Ryan Reynolds became a billionaire and the secret to his success that you can use, and it's not from acting. For starters, he sold Mint Mobile for $1.35 billion and then sold Aviation Gin for $610 million. Then he bought a soccer team for $2.5 million and quickly turned it into $4 million with one documentary. He owes his success to building these companies up through one tactic that he calls fast-vertising, and it's absolutely brilliant. See, he owns his own marketing company, and he told them for all the companies that he buys, he wants them to take whatever's happening in the news and immediately create ads surrounding the trending topic for his companies. So, for example, when that Peloton girl was in the ad, where her husband bought her an exercise bike and everybody was freaking out. Within 48 hours, Ryan's company had casted the same female actor, scripted the whole thing, and shot an ad for his company, all just from this story that was happening in the news. The secret to Ryan's success isn't that he has millions of followers online, it's that he took attention and
Yo, that is so smart because think about it. Somebody went viral in the news for buying Peloton, right? He immediately knows this person is garnishing a lot of attention, right? Let's hire them and put them in a commercial where they're drinking our drink and they already are getting a bunch of natural attention and they're probably going to be trending for the next month or two, which kind of does maximize your advertising because it's sad as to say, one, you have a new viral person. So this isn't like a celebrity or, somebody who is already well known and established in whatever industry you're in. So the fee to book this person is probably going to be relatively like 10% or 90% off of what it would cost to get a celebrity spokesperson, right? So regardless of that cost, you're also gaining that rise of trending traffic that's coming into just the awareness of who this person is. And I think that that's a really smart tactic to add on to your own advertising is somehow find, what's trending. And if your business fits into that, start like piggybacking off of that story, and really showing how your business could have solved this issue or could have helped this problem that people are going through. Dang, that's a really good idea. Write that down. I don't know if you guys watched the first part, but we're taking notes. All right, so don't forget to take your notes.
fast execution and put them together to create billion-dollar brands, which is something we could probably all learn from. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day, so subscribe to not miss the next one. This genius business strategy just brought back Bed Bath & Beyond from the dead. Bed Bath & Beyond held a bankruptcy auction where they sold off all of their remaining assets. So none other than Overstock.com shows up at this bankruptcy auction. And if you're not familiar with them, they sell all the same kind of stuff that Bed Bath & Beyond sells, except just totally online. So Overstock.com bought all of Bed Bath & Beyond's intellectual property for $21.5 million. So they are not buying Bed Bath Beyond, they just bought the logo, the URL, the name, all of the IP that Bed Bath & Beyond had. So if you go to Overstock.com's website, it just looks like it's Bed Bath & Beyond. See, it's as if they never went out of business. They just became an online store. But that's not what's happening here. Overstock is basically wearing Bed Bath Beyond's skin, leveraging the well-known brand name. Overstock has a great business model with a name that does not reflect its focus on home. Bed Bath & Beyond is a much-loved and well-known consumer brand, which had an outdated business model that needed modernizing. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day, so subscribe to not miss the next one.
That's another genius move too because
Did you know you...
hold on. That's another genius move too because you're not losing the customer base. There's a customer base for Bed Bath & Beyond. If you found out that they're going out of business simply because they have an old-fashioned business model, not that they lost their customers, just that like their customers are older now. And I often bring this up to a lot of people. older people don't really want to go into the store if they don't have to. So they'll look online and see if it can just get shipped to them. Not because they're not capable, but because, sometimes walking around a store for hours and hours can be harder for an elderly person, or a disabled person, or a person who just doesn't have the means. So shopping online as a part of your business model is almost at this point like mandatory. So if Overstock was able to like notice that gap in their business model and say, I'm going to buy your business, but I'm not going to change it to Overstock like most people would. I'm just going to keep the brand name. Then that keeps the customer loyalty. That keeps the customers who are still looking for Bed Bath & Beyond, even though the company has been bought out by a whole different company. And I think that that's a smart move, because don't change what people are already used to. You know what I mean? Keep the name and just improve the business model. So smart move, Overstock.
Been lied to about breakfast being the most important meal of the day? It was all just a huge marketing ploy. The saying was created by Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that Kellogg, as in Kellogg's cereal, ingrained this concept into our culture in efforts to sell more breakfast cereal? The phrase was published in a 1917 magazine and has made its impact on consumers so much so that the food giant made billions off its cereals. Then years later, in the 1920s, the meat industry wanted to sell more meat, so they hired Edward Bernays, who is dubbed the father of propaganda. Oddly enough, Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. You know, just one of the biggest names in psychology. Yeah, no big deal. Oh God, I don't like where this is going. Well, anyways, Bernays pioneered the use of psychology in a wide variety of marketing efforts. But when it came to boosting demand for meat, Bernays saw opportunity at the breakfast table. So he went and convinced people and doctors that breakfast was the most essential diet, with studies and experiments which turned out to be all paid propaganda. So Bernays turned breakfast into a massive success. So think twice before believing something, because it could just be really good marketing. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day. So subscribe to not miss the next one. Here's the
Me and my friend were talking about this the other day. Honestly, we were talking about this. That breakfast is a scam. Like, I don't think you're supposed to wake up and just have like a lethargic breakfast. Like, I think, yeah, break your fast. Maybe you might want to have a little bit of like fats, or some type of carbohydrates to get your body going, some tea, something light to like break your fast. But to have these huge, extravagant, like banquet style breakfasts with just bacon, eggs, cheese, sausage, and gravy and grits, and like this is not necessary to have, but why does everybody do it? Because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But like I wrote down, I guess Edward Bernays, marketing from 1940, what did they say, 1917 or 1947, one of the two, I think it's 1917, is still working today. And people still, nothing wrong with breakfast. I love breakfast, but I'm just saying it's not as important as you think it is. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get that. Unless you wake up every morning doing strenuous activities, but you really could just start your morning off with like maybe some tea and a little bit of like maybe bread, or like an egg, a hard boiled egg, and some like grapes, and you'd be okay.
secret to business success. Your product or service can offer 3 key elements. Number 1, the cost. Price-conscious consumers are often motivated by affordability. Offering a product at a reasonable price or providing cost-effective options can be a significant factor in attracting and retaining customers. Number 2, speed. In today's fast-paced world, customers appreciate efficiency and quick delivery. It can make a substantial difference in customer satisfaction. Number 3 is quality. High-quality products or services are more likely to generate positive reviews and word-of-mouth referrals. By focusing on these 3 key elements, a business can create a competitive edge in the market. The truth is, businesses can only have 2 out of the 3 because high quality and fast isn't cheap. Fast and cheap isn't high quality. Cheap and high quality isn't fast. So what does your target market think is the most important? I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day. So subscribe to not miss the next one. Best marketing strategies every
I never realized that. That's something that I've just now recognized, was that like merch-driven cartoon shows. That's pretty much probably why I bought all the Ninja Turtles.
Beckham became a multi-millionaire and the secret to his success that you can use. For starters, early in David Beckham's career, he played for Real Madrid, where his salary was $20 million. But then he left them for a small club in Los Angeles that paid him $6 million a year. See, you may be wondering why he would take such a pay cut, but Beckham was playing the long game and positioning himself for something greater. In his contract, he negotiated a share of the club's total revenue, including merchandise sales, ticket sales, and even concession sales. Through that savvy deal, he made $50 million a year, making him the highest-paid athlete in the world at the time. Beckham understood that working for a percentage of a company's revenue would be more lucrative because he was betting on himself to draw more of a crowd. Oh, and I almost forgot. In that contract, Beckham was given the option to purchase a future expansion team for just $25 million. So fast forward to when he retired, he leveraged that money and acquired Inter Miami Club for $25 million. Which was a steal. Beckham started building the team and the league itself, developing brand deals with Apple and Adidas. He signed Lionel Messi, the best soccer player in the world, which drew more attention to the sport and his team. He provided the perfect combination of star power, culture, glamour, and yes, money. And now, he has transformed the soccer club into being worth $1 billion. David Beckham is a savvy businessman who shows that playing the long game and positioning yourself for something greater is something we could all learn from. I analyzed the world's greatest marketing strategy.
I will say this, and this is just my truth. I would take a pay cut for a percentage of sales. Meaning, like, if you're going to give me 20 million up front, that's great. But if that 20 million up front means you take all my merch sales, you take all my appearance revenue, you take all of my, anytime that I'm doing a meet and greet or maybe get a sponsored brand deal, something like that, and it all gets forfeited because I've already been paid up front, I would rather take the deal like him and just give me the 6 million, but let me get the percentage. Because if you get the percentage and you're selling like crazy, then you'll definitely make more money. So I definitely would take a percentage of revenue over a flat rate.
Strategy of all time. His name is Theodore Levitt, and he was famous for his saying, "Sell the hole, not the drill." The point he's making is that customers don't purchase products for the features, but rather for the benefits they provide. For example, when you think of Nike as a brand, they don't market the material of the shoe or the grip underneath the sole. They market becoming the best athlete you can be, the status you will have, and the journey of achieving greatness. If you market the benefits of your products like this, you can tap into customers' desires and aspirations, showing them how the product can help them solve their problem or improve their life. Benefits tend to resonate with customers on an emotional level, creating a stronger connection and attachment to your product. This can be highly motivating and persuasive. So remember, sell the benefits, not the features. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies.
That's like trying to...
Oh, my bad. What was Jeff saying?
Creating a stronger connection and attachment to your product.
I should just let it
This
play.
can be highly motivating and persuasive. So remember, sell the benefits, not the features. I analyze the world's greatest business and marketing strategies every day, so subscribe to not miss the next one.
Kind of like our channel, this channel is for entrepreneurs and business people. And sometimes entrepreneurs don't have enough time to create everything. And that's why I suggest Fiverr. Fiverr is sponsoring or, brought to you by using this video, whatever you want to call it. But you can check over here, right? The little QR code, and you can scan the QR code and it'll take you directly to Fiverr. And if you're looking to outsource any work like logos being created, scripts being, brought out, or even if you need someone to do cold calls for you, like you have a list of leads and you need someone just to call the leads and warm them up for you, Fiverr can actually help you do that, can help you market your business, can help you build your website. So if you need somebody other than you to do all the work, then I say check out this QR code and look into Fiverr. And as always, if you want to see all my marketing resources, then just check out the link tree in the About Me section. Let's keep going.
Never chase the hot thing, whatever it is. That's like trying to catch the wave, and you'll never catch it. You need to position yourself and wait for the wave. And the way you do that is you pick something you're passionate about. So that's the number one piece of advice that I give to somebody who wants to start a company or start a new endeavor inside of a bigger company, make sure it's something you're interested in, something you're passionate about. Missionaries build better products, and so I would take a missionary over a mercenary any day. Mercenaries want to flip the company and get rich. Missionaries want to build a great product or service, and one of those great paradoxes, it's usually the missionaries who end up making more money anyway. Start with the customer and work backwards. That's those two things, passion and customer centricity, will take you an awful long way.
Thing to own if you're super rich. Do you have a yacht?
Just a piece of advice for you,
Yes.
Steve.
Yeah.
Don't be attached to things. Be free.
Okay, you do have a yacht, right?
Yes, I have, but I don't know where the heck it is.
You don't know where your yacht is?
No.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Don't ask anyone what they think you should do. Make a decision. You're going to do this. You're going to get involved in this. I don't care if you have to go and borrow the money from your grandmother. You're going to make a decision right now today that you are never going to lower your standard of living. You have the potential that God gave you. You've got all the potential in the world. Anything anybody else does, you're quite capable of doing. But you've got to make a decision to do it. And don't worry about where the money or everything's going to come from. It'll come. When the Maharishi Yogi decided to take transcendental meditation to the world, somebody said, where's the money going to come from? It's going to cost a lot of money. He said, wherever it is right now. When you make a decision, you'll always find the money. The way will always show itself. I want to thank you for giving me your attention. I think it's fairly obvious. I love doing this. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have.
And that's the problem with a lot of you. You want to do free things for everybody that is close to you. You need to do business with strangers. People who won't solicit funds out of you, who won't manipulate you, who won't use you. You need to learn to do business with strangers. Stop trying to service people that don't value your business.
I can make money much faster than Apple or Tesla. And I would use debt. I wouldn't use my money.
But do you think they use their money to grow?
Of course not. Look at Amazon, this guy Bezos, right? He's one of the richest men in the world. Do you think he pays any taxes?
I wouldn't bet on that.
He doesn't pay taxes. Trump doesn't pay taxes. I don't pay taxes. So the question is, how do guys like us do it is the question you should be asking. Now, if I borrow money, guess what? Do I pay taxes on debt?
I guess no.
Okay, question everything.
Okay.
So how do I get rich? I borrow money and I buy assets with it. I own 15,000 houses.
But you give it out for rent.
Yeah, nothing wrong with buying a house.
Yeah.
Difference is I use debt to buy it.
Okay.
And I pay no taxes. It's not the house, it's not the stock, it's not the bond, it's not the ETF, it's your brains. So I would rather use debt and pay no taxes.
Can you explain that? How do you buy houses without...
Capitalism. We use debt and we pay no taxes. That's what I teach.
Can you explain the mechanics of that in simple words for the audience? Like how do you...
In 1971, this became debt. Only way it's created is somebody has to borrow money. So in your credit card, there's no money in your credit card.
Right.
There's no money anywhere. So the moment you use your credit card, money is created. And the US dollar is debt, the rupee is debt, the yuan is debt, the peso, the yen is debt. They need people to borrow money. So when I go to a bank and I say, I want to borrow $20 million, I get huge tax breaks because I'm creating money.
How you can borrow money, that sort of thing. It's really interesting. Then the second book that he wrote is called Cash Flow Quadrant. And he wrote other books, but Cash Flow Quadrant kind of is another book that walks you through the steps of like financial positioning. So like, you know, going from employment to self-employment to small business, big business, investing, real estate, that sort of thing. So if you don't know much about him, check out his books. It's Robert Kiyosaki. I know that's hard to spell, but just look up Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he's well known for that.
Nobody who got rich from multiple streams of income. The way you get rich is through doing one thing really, really well. Then once you break through the wall, you diversify and you put your money to work for you where your money creates money. If you have diluted focus, you get diluted results.
All right. Well, that is today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you like other videos like this, then feel free to hit a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments that you subscribe so that I can reply back to you. If you want to keep diving into more business videos and entrepreneur advice, then check out my channel for more. If you're ready to start making passive income, hit the link tree in my About Me section. As always, I put this QR code right here. Should take you directly to Fiverr, directly to my link tree, and you can check out all the resources I have. Like I said, thank you for watching, and if you want to check out more, then subscribe and go to my channel.